Good morning, girls. Now we are analyzing the poem by Arthur Rimbaud, Asleep in the Valley. In my previous class, I have completed explaining the first two stanzas, that is the octave part of this Petrarchan sonnet. But one point I should mention here. Sometimes question comes, what is the perspective of the poem? What is the occasion of writing this poem? It was in the older edition of your text. Arthur Rimbaud had first-hand experience of war. He was a soldier and understood the futility of war. People who are never present in the battlefield, they may romanticize warfare. They may glorify warfare. But people who has faced it, they know the gory reality of war. So they know that war is something brutal. The war is cruel butchery of young lives. So, Rimbaud had first-hand experience of warfare. He was a soldier in the Dutch colonial army in 1876. He was a soldier in the Dutch colonial army in 1876. And Rimbaud wrote this poem, Asleep in the Valley. Do you remember the original title of the poem? La Demeure la Ville. This poem was written a year later. So, the poem was written in the year 1877 when France was at war with Russia. This war was named, write it down, Franco, Franco hyphen Russian Russian war in 1877. So, if a question comes, what is the perspective of the poem Asleep in the Valley, or what is the occasion of the poem, your answer will be Franco-Russian War in 1877. When was this poem written? This poem was also written in the year 1877. Note them down. এই কবিতার প্রেক্ষিত কি, পটভূমিকা কি না ফ্রাঙ্কো রাশিয়ান ওয়ার। ফ্রাঙ্কো মানে ফ্রান্স আর রাশিয়া, ফ্রান্সের সাথে রাশিয়ার যুদ্ধ যেটা 1877 খ্রিস্টাব্দে হয়েছিল, সেই সময়কার অভিজ্ঞতা থেকে তিনি নিজে একজন সোলজার ছিলেন, এই কবিতাটা তিনি লিখেছিলেন। ঠিক আছে? This is some extra points taken from the older edition of your text. Now, in the octave, we have found a soldier very young. He is asleep in a small, green, serene, beautiful, well-lit valley by the stream that flows slowly, leaving behind silver strands on the bright green grass. It is a sunny day. Everywhere there is peace. Mother Nature provided the young soldier a pillow made of fern. She prepared her bed with thick undergrowth, and the soldier is sleeping on this green sun-soaked bed. But there is a contrast. The soldier who is young, who is courageous, who has valor, who is robust, his face appears to be pale. What is the meaning of pale? Bloodless, ফ্যাকাশে, cold, শীতল, absence of the warmth of life, জীবনের উষ্ণতার অভাব. So, nothing is expressed here clearly. In the octave, the readers are given the facts that a soldier is asleep in the valley. Come to the sestet. His feet among the flowers. So, how was his pillow? His pillow was made of fern. How was his bed? His bed was made of thick undergrowth. You know the meaning of undergrowth? Plants, shrubs, grass are called undergrowth. And where are his feet? His feet are among the flowers. So, on our bed, there remains a blanket at our feet. So, how does Mother Nature provide the sleeping soldier a blanket? It is a floral blanket. So, the blanket is made of flowers. Another way this may be explained. That thing is called objective correlative, a new term introduced by poet T.S. Eliot. I am repeating, objective, objective, correlative, correlative. Objective correlative is the artistic and literary technique of representing or evoking a particular emotion by means of symbols. With the help of symbol, some emotion is evoked, some emotion is represented through symbols. It is called objective correlative. Have you ever watched Jalsa Ghar by Satyajit Ray? There you will find যে জমিদার তিনি মদ্যপান করছেন আর তার স্ত্রী পুত্র নৌকা করে বাড়ি ফিরছে। এবার দেখা গেল সত্যজিৎ রায় দেখাচ্ছেন মদের গ্লাসে একটা পোকা পড়ে গেল, ন্যাচারালি সেটা মরে যাবে। তারপরেই খবর এলো ঝড়ে নৌকাডুবি হয়ে তার স্ত্রী পুত্র মারা গেছেন। তাহলে অবজেক্টিভ কোরিলেটিভ কোনটা? ওই যে মদের গ্লাসে পড়ে পোকাটা বাঁচার চেষ্টা করছে, স্ট্রাগল করছে, সেই সিম্বলটা দিয়ে কি বোঝানো হলো? ঝড়ের মধ্যে পড়ে নৌকাডুবি হয়ে জমিদারের স্ত্রী পুত্র তারাও বাঁচার চেষ্টা করছে, বাঁচতে চাইছে, কিন্তু পারল না। সো দিস ইজ কল্ড অবজেক্টিভ কোরিলেটিভ। এখানে মাদার নেচার হ্যাজ প্রোভাইডেড আ ফ্লোরাল ব্ল্যাঙ্কেট টু দ্য সোলজার, বাট টু অ্যানালাইজ ইট আদার ওয়ে, it is a symbol. We pay our homage to the dead with floral tribute. মৃত ব্যক্তির উদ্দেশ্যে আমরা কি দিই? পুষ্পস্তবক। তাহলে মাদার নেচার offers her homage to her brave son, a floral tribute. He sleeps. So, if Mother Nature offers this soldier of homage, it is clear that this sleep is not a sleep in the ordinary sense of the term. Metaphorically, it is the eternal sleep. তাহলে এই ঘুম কি ঘুম? না, চিরনিদ্রা। The soldier is never wake up. The soldier would never wake up. His smile is like an infant's. How is his smile? Question comes. Gentle. Gentle means mild. Without guile. What is the meaning of guile? Guile means cholona, trickery. So, there is an innocent, heavenly, divine, childish smile on the lips of the soldier. So it is a contrast. The soldier struggled hard for living, but when he has slept eternally, he is in peace, he smiles. Nature. So the poet requests Mother Nature. What? Keep him warm. Why? Because the soldier is lying on the grass, by the stream, under the open sky. So, it is important to keep him warm, otherwise he may catch cold. না হলে ঠান্ডা লেগে যাবে. So the poet requests Mother Nature to keep him warm. Because in the 9th line, the poet has already said that he sleeps, and the reader suspects that there is something in his sleep. It may be his last sleep. The humming insects. What is the meaning of humming? Buzzing. Don't disturb his rest. So, it is in the midst of plants and shrubs and trees in the valley by the stream. Flowers are there, vibrant flowers, sweet smelling flowers. So bees, flies must have been there, and they are making a buzzing sound. This sound don't disturb the soldier, but it is like a lullaby, ঘুমপাড়ানি গানের মতো. The insects try to lull the soldier to sleep. Question will come. Actually, this line has been come this year. So, this line won't come in your year. This year, the question is, the humming insects don't disturb his rest. Quoted portion is given, and the questions are, who rests and where? Why is his rest not disturbed by the insects? So, this question has come this year. The humming insects don't disturb his rest because he is dead. Nothing can disturb him anymore. He sleeps in sunlight. There is another contrast. The sun is the source of life, but here the soldier is lifeless. Still, he is lying in the warm sunlight. One hand on his breast. It is a posture of sound sleeping, profound sleeping, peaceful rest. So, question will come, where is his one hand? His one hand on his breast at peace. It appears from the gesture of the soldier that he is having a peaceful sleep, an undisturbed sleep, a sound sleep, a profound sleep. But the final line comes and jolts the reader. একটা ধাক্কা খায় পাঠক. In his side, there are 2 red holes. HOLES. So these holes are the bullet injuries, and these holes are blood smitten. দুটো গুলির ক্ষতচিহ্ন, সেখান থেকে রক্তপাত হয়েছে. একদম শেষে এসে দেখা গেল the soldier is not asleep. He is brutally murdered. He is brutally killed. He has bullet injury, and now he is in peace. While he has been living, he was attacked, he was tortured, he was killed, and now, after getting killed, now he receives the eternal peace. Now he receives the special care from Mother Nature. Now he receives blessings from the sunlight. So, the last line ends ironically. This poem presents 2 contrasting pictures. What are they? The first picture is a small green hollow. In our previous class, we have explained the meaning of hollow, a small valley. This hollow is contrasted with the 2 red holes in the soldier's body. So hollow has been contrasted with holes. This contrast evokes a sense of pity in the mind of the readers. They realize that the soldier is a casualty of war. যুদ্ধে সে মারা গেছে, নিহত হয়েছে। And the images of peace, serenity, happiness, quietness are ironically used. The poet is here ironical to highlight that in this peaceful ambience, a most brutal thing is executed. That is the killing of a very young soldier. There lies the pity of war. While reading an anti-war poem, we must talk about Wilfred Owen, a British anti-war poet. He was also a soldier. He has written many poems against expressing his anti-war attitude. Some of them are Futility. The very title of the poem is Futility. Another is Strange Meeting. Another is Send Off. They are the anti-war poems. If you have any chance, just go through them. And Wilfred Owen said, I am not concerned with poetry. A poet, he is telling that I am not concerned with poetry. My subject is war, the pity of war. The poetry lies in the pity. তাহলে একজন কবি বলছেন কাব্য নিয়ে আমার মাথা ব্যথা নেই। আমার মাথা ব্যথা কি নিয়ে? যুদ্ধ নিয়ে। যুদ্ধের কোন দিকটা আমি আমার কবিতায় হাইলাইট করব? দ্য পিটি অফ ওয়ার, দ্য অর্গানাইজড বুচারি অফ ইয়াং লাইভস। ইউ নো দ্য মিনিং অফ বুচার? কসাই, যারা মাংস কাটে, তার থেকে নাউন হয়েছে বুচারি। তাহলে ইট ইজ অ্যান অর্গানাইজড বুচারি of the young lives. Who is responsible for this? The statesmen, Rashtranayak. They plotted, they plot, they conspire. তাদের ষড়যন্ত্রে a war takes place. And who are sacrificed here? Young, innocent soldiers. They are sacrificed. By the statesmen, they keep safe distance from the war front. So this is the gory, this is the obnoxious side of war that was exposed by these anti-war poets like Rimbaud, French poet, Wilfred Owen, Rupert Brooke. These are all anti-war poets. So, this is the poem. I have tried my best to explain, go through it. And if you have any difficulty in understanding the poem, please leave your questions in the comment section. I will love to answer them. Have a good day.